Welcome into the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. And guys, well, first off, let's talk about this. Fred,
Yeah.
you just went on a trip.
Yes, I did.
Where'd you go?
Road trip with the kids. Drove all the way down to Birmingham, Alabama for an AAU tournament with my daughter. And saw a lot of people down there. Then also drove back to Virginia for the Dale Green Foundation tournament.
Golf tournament?
Yep, where I helped raise almost $35,000, $50,000 in the auction. I'm the auctioneer. So
No, you were not.
Yeah, I'm an auctioneer every year.
Too.
Did he really?
Yeah,
Did you do a good job?
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. So I get people to dig in their pockets. I'm good at that.
Dig in there?
Dig in the pockets. Get it. We take the kind that jingles, but we'd rather have the kind that folds. Like that's just what it is. And we raised over $30,000 in 45 minutes yesterday. I mean,
really?
He got a lot of practice from his dad in the churches.
Yeah, you know how it goes.
You heard that? We take the kind that jingles. So we love the kind that folds.
I
heard that a lot of times when them offering plates go around.
Yeah.
Don't put no change in there.
Yes,
Do they still
indeed.
give, like, I haven't been to an auction in a while. Do they still give, like, money? They give, like, checks and
They get
digital
like
transfers or what?
now they can do it instantly.
Yeah.
They can walk around with the credit card thing. They can write a check and stuff like that. We had a couple of their jerseys sell for close to $4,000 yesterday.
Really?
We was even selling just regular golf shirts. I talked them into buying them for $300. So whatever you're selling, you need a salesman. And see,
you're a
I
salesman?
think in my former life I used to be a door-to-door vacuum salesman in the early 70s.
That's tough living, man.
Hey, it was rough.
You got a vacuum? I don't care. Dude, I had a guy come by my house the other day, and like they're selling pest control or whatever.
Yeah.
And usually say, oh, sir, we don't spray. Like my wife doesn't want to spray because she's worried
don't
about,
want the toxins.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Because we got dogs and stuff. Yeah. And I was like, so we've never used it. We've lived in our house for 10 years. We don't spray for pests.
Yeah.
He goes, I appreciate that, sir, but what about this? And I was like,
no.
I'm talking. This guy came back at me
Relentlessly.
5 or 6 times.
That's the skill set.
And I'm not exaggerating. It was like I was like, oh no, thank you. Oh, what about this? He showed me a picture of something. What about this? This is scary. You want? And I was like,
he showed you a praying man. Yeah. Like these could be taking your kids.
All they need is one.
Yeah.
All they need is one person to
That's a good
buy
point.
in, man. I couldn't be a salesman. Because once you told me no the first time,
no, you're going to turn around and go.
I'm going to the other next door.
But that's how they do. They knock on your door, and they be like, yeah, look like you need a roof. And I'd be like, nah, this roof just got put on 3 years
And
ago.
they're like, oh,
okay. In 5
you-
years, you'll need to return. You need to replace the No. These shingles are supposed to be 30-year
My
shingles.
favorite when they go like, well, like with those big storms we've had, you might need to want us to go up and look, and we'll replace it. And then they're like pulling shingles off. Not that we're saying anyone's doing anything untoward there, but
Of course they is. They're car salesmen. like this. And that's what we are in the United States. We know things are a certain way, but then we choose not to look at it.
That is a good
We
point.
know a car salesman is sleazy.
Yeah.
Say it what you want to. They're gonna sell you a car by any means necessary.
we were just talking about. Tana was just talking with Jason about buying used cars and
buying
how
cars,
shady
you
that
gotta-
is and.
gotta
Anyway,
go-
that's
you gotta
it.
go
But
that
the
crazy.
reason, I know we started talking about salesmen for whatever because Fred's a salesman.
Yeah.
But I really wanted to bring up your trip to Birmingham because your daughter got a scholarship offer to.
Yes, she did. Cal Berkeley kind of offered her this weekend.
What's up, man?
Think she's she's getting there.
Where'd she get that from? That basketball building?
She got it from my daddy, Russell
Damn
Kerr.
sure ain't get it from my old man.
Yeah. She got it from my old. She's built exactly like me.
We got video evidence, Fred.
Listen, I was exhausted.
You never
and plus,
lose. You never lose. Like riding a bike.
He's a tank, all right? And sometimes, like they say, you can't fight a tank with a dirt bike.
Nah, you can't.
All right? You can't do it. You
can get away from it, though.
And then he was just leaning on me. And he would literally take the ball out and hand it to me like an inch. Like an inch. Who does that? Like, this is a guy that felt like if I let his quickness come into this, I won't be able to stop it.
That is true.
He had a plan you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
I had a really well thought out game plan.
That's who you are. But that's what I gotta say. This congratulations to Kendra Ghosted and Rock Cartwright and which those guys they would take on the head coaching job at Stonebridge here in
gonna be cool.
Virginia. I can't.
for real?
Yeah, I can't wait to see that staff.
Are you gonna go help
beat
them out?
you? No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Me and
that's
I'm not out. The coach. This is what I will do. I will train. I will help guys. And I would talk to them and I would mentor them.
Yeah.
Coaching. Man, that's too much time, man.
It is a lot of time.
Yeah.
It is a lot, and they give you a stipend. Oh, we're gonna give you a stipend, but it's literally like
$7.
it's like $7 an hour.
I can't do that in Loudoun County.
Yeah, no,
like
you
you
can't do it.
cannot live off coaching in Loudoun County.
It's 100% true. All right. So just a reminder, we got ThatHawkOustide.com.
Yes.
ThatHawkOustide.
That Hawk.
ThatHawkOustide.com.
Yeah.
At gmail.com.
At Gmail.
Excuse me. Yeah, let's make sure that's clear. ThatHawkOustide at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're giving out shirts, right, Fred?
Yeah. Free shirts.
Free shirts.
Free shirts.
20 winners for a free shirt. And then 5 lucky winners for a signed shirt by all 3 of us.
Yeah.
And this is the last opportunity. This is the last time we're going to do it. We're going to make our selections here very soon, right, Jason? That's coming up. Making those selections, he's nodding. Last chance. So make sure you get those submissions in. You guys done a great job. Mm-hmm. And also, that's a great spot to leave show ideas moving forward.
Yeah, tell us what you want us to talk about. Any subjects in the world.
Yeah, we're talking about the mailman segment, right?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
The mailman, the milkman,
whoever it is.
These jobs have all died.
Preacher man.
By the way.
Salesman.
Yeah, whatever. Anything in with man.
No doubt. And then we got a live show coming up, right? Yes. On June 14th, we're finalizing the location now, but make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. We're going to kind of determine the best spot to get that done. And hopefully you guys come out and support us for the live event. That's pretty exciting.
No, it's going to be very exciting. I can't wait to take on the face.
Is it like at a bar, you think, or like an auditorium?
I think it should be at a bar. You need alcohol flowing.
Well, you went to the spot that we doing it at, right?
No, we don't know yet.
Oh, we don't know yet.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
Not finalized. Everyone calm down.
Yeah.
Everyone.
We haven't figured it out.
I heard some names and I got a little hit of it. It's all good.
Yeah, we're in talks.
Gotcha.
We in negotiations.
I feel we're at the 5-yard line.
Yeah. We just got to punch it in.
We're right there.
Sometimes that's the hardest time.
Off.
No. It's a game of inches.
Finishing that drive can be really tough.
Yeah.
Really, really tough.
Depending on who you have a running back.
Yeah, you're right. Because, I was watching some film yesterday, just watching it coming up the highway, listening to it.
What are you doing, driving the car?
No, I do a good, when I'm driving long distance, I don't listen to music. I don't listen to sports talk. I listen to YouTube breakdowns, nerdy stuff. And then I happened to come across a game clip, and I was watching a 2001 game, Panthers against Washington at the time, and the old bell cow, Stephen Davis, was running that ball downhill.
Strong man. It does help having a big guy down there inside the 5-yard line. All right, so that's it. So make sure you come out. Stay tuned to all of our content for that live event. The time, the date is June 14th. The time to be determined.
Yes.
Location to be determined. So you have to stay tuned to find out when all that stuff is happening. So let's stay with it. All right. Now, in Commanders news, we've got some kind of exciting news. The more research we did for this show, the more excited I got about this.
Yeah. We
have a new senior VP of football operations, Brandon Sosna. Is that you say?
Sona.
You're bad with pronunciations.
I'm bad. I'm worse too, but I've heard Sosna.
So we'll call him Brandon for so
we'll let Jason put the whatever over this.
Sosna.
Yeah, so basically he is the new senior VP of football operations, but man, he has a crazy
resume.
Well, crazy resume, but also crazy job description at the moment. So first off, he reports directly to AP. He's the lead contract negotiator. He oversees not only analytics, but also health and performance and also football administration. He's the liaison to business operations.
Get that stadium built.
And he's got a major role in roster construction, salary cap, and the CBA. The dude's 31 years old.
Yeah.
And that just seems like he's got his hand in everything.
That just seems like he's a nerd.
And
bright. Very bright.
Yeah,
that's what I like. And by the way, resume is a French word, by the way.
Resume.
Back to me. All right. At the end of the day,
back to me.
I think he's one of these.
Back to me. We were talking.
He's one of these brainiacs that I'm just so happy, man. They're not cutting any corners.
Yeah.
You look at what we had in the front office and just people taking on 9 and 10 jobs and stuff like that. I could just wonder how stressful their job has been for the last 10 to 15 years. And now we got people in here to do certain things and people overlapping each other doing these things. And I think that check and balance system is going to help us out in the long run. And we're cherry picking from some of the best franchises in the league, and we're promoting these guys. That's the way things are supposed to be done.
I just think it's a brilliant way these guys have been doing things. If you really sit back and watch, I guess you could say the Harrison crew, Harrison company, when it comes to just everybody, who putting their hands into this pot and stirring it up and making sure that they get the right guys for the right job. I mean for each and every job. It's very strategic.
Yeah,
and
cutting
thinking about from a guy, you pulling from other teams that was using these guys and probably sitting in a situation right now where they hate to have this loss on them.
Yeah, they got to replace them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm like I said, I can't say it anymore. I'm ecstatic just to see how this thing really comes to, I guess fruition. What I mean? When it comes to all the different things that they have to do that we never think about or talk about. We just play ball here.
Yeah.
We never knew how important a guy like this meant to his team. You know what I'm saying? Or further, you know. So when I heard the resume, you know, I briefly listened to a couple of people talk about him coming over here and how Detroit's going to miss him and how some of the other places that he's been, things that he's done well. You know, I was geeked about it.
Yeah, and I think like you guys both hit the nail on the head there. Like getting good people to fill important positions in your organizations, and he's got a history of success and taking on a lot of responsibility. I know I read off like 10 things he's going to be responsible for, but I think when you look at his resume, right, with the Cleveland Browns, he was a salary cap and contract analyst in 2018. He goes back to Cincinnati, which was his alma mater. He's the chief revenue officer there, right?
Yeah.
Then he goes to USC, and he's the executive senior associate athletic director and chief of staff. So he's responsible. He's not the athletic director, but he's responsible for all of the athletic programs, right?
Yeah.
And then he goes to the Detroit Lions and is the senior contract negotiator there, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes here and has that same title in addition to some other responsibilities. So he's a young dude. He's very hungry.
Very experienced.
Very smart. And the other thing that I love about it is he's got a diversity of experience according to this resume, and he's handled different responsibilities and seemed to handle them very well. And then you pair that with his experience in Detroit and the roster construction that they went through there. Because I mean, talk about rosters that get you excited.
They own guys. They got their own type guys with their own vision. And let's just look through these stuff and let's just fine comb these things. All right, University of Cincinnati. This is when they had Desmond Ridder, Sauce Gardner, Kobe Bryant, all these dudes. I'm talking about probably 17, 18 pros off of this time. It would be called the golden era of Cincinnati football. They made the playoffs that year. They got blew out, but they made the playoffs that year. Hence, go to the Cleveland Browns. He left the Cleveland Browns in a better condition than he found the Cleveland Browns. I'm seeing it with everybody that I'm striking off of. He left them all in a better condition than he left USC. Not only did he get them Lincoln Riley, he comes back, turn around, and get them put in the Big Ten. And we know how important that is with the Pac-12 signing with the CW with a $3 TV contract. That tell you what's going on there. So now that tells me he has future vision. No, he can see.
Hey, man.
No, he can see.
I agree.
You know, he can see ahead of time.
He's got a good feel for the dollars and cents, which is what his new role
That's the most important thing. All that.
Yeah, and then he goes to Detroit. And Detroit, one of the top 6 teams to win the Super Bowl right now. Left their roster in a better situation than he found it. So his track record tells me he glows up everywhere he go.
No, he know how to handle that money.
He knows how to handle
his
money.
math is mathing, boy. He does well behind those numbers. So, like I said, that's the first thing I saw when I saw the things that he's done, and it all pertained to the dollar, just getting things around here, you know, organizing and flowing the right way. We got our guy. Yeah,
and I think the other thing is, like, when you look at, like, an important position, you know, like when I was with the Atlanta, anytime I negotiate a new contract, you negotiate with the lead negotiator for the organization. And having a guy in that role who understands contract value, your role in the organization, and what they will or will not spend on you,
and positional value
is extremely important. Because, like, think about, oh man, that's an overpay. That team overpaid. That's what he's doing. That's his job. So hopefully he's shown a history of the dollars and cents, of the experience, and I just think it's again, you got to see him in this new role and see how he works here. But in terms of on paper resumes, just like Dan Quinn, just like Adam Peters, this guy has the resume that makes you say, man, he's the right guy for the job and can handle all this responsibility. Also, Nikki Javala reported that David Blackburn will be the director of player personnel. That is unofficial at the moment, but once that is finalized, we'll talk about that. So make sure you stay tuned to get our thoughts on whoever the final version of the director of player personnel is. But obviously, we're very excited about Brandon, and we're looking forward to see what he does here with this organization.
And we promise, we will get your last name correct.
Yeah, I'm going to give it one more time.
Because I did call Senate Snot.
Yeah, it's Senate.
I know. Now we know it's Senate.
We should get that right, though.
So I apologize for him. Sanat.
Sorry.
I wish it was Sanat, though.
You want to say Sanat so bad.
Hey, that's a football name.
Isn't it so funny? Like, this is a little bit peel behind the curtain. Like, you get in these, like, little ruts mentally with names. And I'll stop saying a name.
Yeah,
because I don't know how to say it.
I just say the first name.
Sanat because he said Sanat. Didn't even think about, let me ask you if that's really his name. He said Sanat, so I'm going off of Fred.
Yeah. All right, so that's kind of the big news. We're really excited to see how that, and that's more of like, in terms of judging success, that seems like it'll be a long-term thing. But we can't wait to see what that looks like. Also, in other news, we have not talked about the schedule release. Because before on our last show, we kind of said, oh, these are some games we have highlighted and circled.
Yeah.
But we didn't have the final schedule release. So let's just talk about this super high level.
Yeah.
As a player.
Do we care?
Yeah. You said you did on the show. So, like.
I do a little bit because
you said you were circling games and stuff.
Think about it. All right. You're going to always circle the game. Let's say it's Santana playing the Dolphins. That's a home game for him. Now, I know it feels like a away game for him, but his family going to be there repping. All right. So you circle that game. All right. Let's just say I got a beef with a certain football player, a la Steve Smith. I'm circling the Panthers game. All right. If I got the rivalry of the Cowboys, of course, their games are automatically circled. So I think in particular situations, one-on-one, it's some intimate battles inside of that. Let's just say I get to play against the Vikings that I just left.
Well, that's a big one.
Yeah, I'm circling that game.
But you would do that now, or you would do that the week before the game?
No, I would do that before the season started, where I would be
like, you got it on your wall
and you
circle the games.
yes, I'm circling that game because they didn't believe in me. No, it's something.
Yeah.
Like Santana playing the Jets.
Yeah.
He like, Jets, y'all ain't do nothing. Y'all drafted me. It's all good, but there go when the but comes in.
Yeah.
But I'm finna show y'all 200 yards. All right? I'm finna give it to you.
Did you feel that way?
But I tell you, I did everything opposite than that. You got it take a special person to be wired that way. And you can't knock them for being. So a lot of guys like this, especially playing this sport, a lot of guys take things personal.
Very personal.
But I don't take stuff personal because it interferes with my game.
Yep.
You understand?
But that's how he
if
thinks.
I'm a guy that plays with that kind of that feeds my game, then I want to be personal.
Yeah.
I don't feed off of that. I feed off of just being clear-minded and going out there handling it as another game. So I wouldn't do none of that stuff that Fred just said.
Yeah.
I would not even look at it. Like I told you, we used to get schedules. I didn't want to see them.
No.
I'm that superstitious. I wouldn't. Somebody start talking about, in week 5, I go walk the other way. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
I want to
focus on
I just want to know when you say, when we go to training camp, we got so-and-so on September 1st or September 11th. That's all I'm worried about, that first game, because I want to be zoned in, worried about them. And then once things get flowing, then, you see it because you see the board everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because we all are wired like that. We have beefs in our own little mind or have things we want to do against teams that may feel, a certain way about us, or we, have some unfinished business with them. But I don't want to put that into my way of getting ready for my season.
But it wasn't always just beefs. I can remember my rookie year, and we were going to play the 49ers like the third game, and I'm like, I finally get to check Jerry Rice.
Yeah.
I've been dreaming about this my whole life.
By the way?
It was,
he went 200 yards.
Hey, you know what? I feel so bad that I did. I feel so bad that I did the old man like that. I feel so bad.
Did you get him or what?
No, he was actually playing. Actually, we played the 49ers and T.O. and J.J. Stokes.
I was say he was gone. He was
Rice was at the Oakland Raiders at the time.
Also,
so I got to play him and Tim Brown. Tim Brown, which I like. We beating up on the old folks home. So I played against older Rice. I played against dirty Rice. I didn't play against fresh out the
Rice.
long grain. I didn't play against long grain.
Play against San Francisco.
I didn't play against long grain Rice. But it was a dream. All right, and then I also think about it. A dude coming in the league young. Oh, we got the Vikings this year. Randy Moss is the first thing coming to your mind. Yeah. I got Randy. I got Chris Carter. So, I think you open for the challenges, but now you get to see, okay, this is the date these challenges going to be on me.
Yeah. See, I knew I was one of those guys that if I allowed whatever beef I got with you, it'll overtake me. You know what I mean? It would
it'll take you out your game.
Bingo. I'm not a guy. I allow whatever goes on in the game to affect me as that moment. You see what I'm saying? So say for instance, I'm in the game and you yapping. I ain't gonna yap back. I'm gonna let you yap because I know all I gotta do is perform. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when I perform, that speaks louder than me yapping. Now if I get into a yapping contest with you, you gonna win because that's what you do. Yeah. And you're trying to do that to make sure I get off my game.
Yep.
So I used to laugh at guys, and I remember it get to my 4th or 5th year, I see a guy in the off season. Dude came to me and said, man, I can't even be mad at you, bro. You grinned at me and then went for 100. He said,
Reggie the same way. I was all built the same way.
You grinned at me, bro. And I was like, what the motherfucker grinning at me for? And I say, bro, because I know the way I get back at you is you seeing the back of my damn jersey. You see what I'm saying? And so I'm not going to get into that match. So, but I also know me too that if I do start looking, I'm going to just go to think about, I'm going to try at me. You know what I'm saying? And now I'm out my game already because I'm really
You emotionally spent at that time.
Well, I'm thinking about, woo, I remember this moment, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's why I try to make sure I just stay away from all that. Like Smoot, I laugh when I used to see him and Steve Smith go at it with words across the. I say, boy, them boys built different, especially Chad. Chad, you send stuff to the
Chad
mail.
used to start his list.
Man, that dude.
You want to talk about schedule watching?
Yeah.
Chad had a list of all 17 DBs. He would only talk about the top DBs on his team, and he used to try to cross us out. And he was like, I got you this week. Call me the week before the game. I got you this week. I say, no, I got you this week. All right? So at the end of the day, I see you on Sunday.
Yeah.
All right? And we had that battle. And I like, you can't scratch me out because you had as many yards against me as a dead man.
So I got a question. This just came to me right now.
Yeah.
Why is it that receivers and corners are such divas? It's like the farther you get away from the ball, the more flamboyant
it becomes
you get.
about me.
Yeah, even like tight ends that start standing up, it's like, oh no, watch out. Like, what's going on with that? Like, they get the ball a lot, but it's like.
And you got to have a somewhat insane personality to be out there on that freeway constantly battling these dudes. And we got to think about this. If I close your eyes and say, this is the position you play, you got to go backwards. What the fastest athletes in the world do forward.
Yeah.
You got to be a little insane to be really the match up. And the talking, it's a way to psych yourself out almost. Because you got to think about it. Cornerback is a position of imperfection.
Yeah.
We're going to get beat. It ain't no if, it ain't no when. It's you're going to get beat. Now what are you going to do?
Yeah.
But offensive linemen, man, they have a very similar situation. They don't talk, right?
Yeah, but they also don't get singled out. Like, to get beat.
See, you got to understand something. Defensive backs, and I can't speak for safeties, but they're in that same, I guess you can say, ballpark when it comes to the corners and the receivers. They like basketball players when it comes to our sport. Meaning,
I like that.
Meaning when they're individually battling all day, one-on-one.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Like, regardless of what the coverage is, I see you, you see me.
Yeah.
Whether I get the ball or not, if I beat you,
we counted against each other.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a check.
I got
you.
Got him.
So I could look at film all day. Wow, I was 10 Fred up. If I ain't had the ball, I ain't get the ball.
One catch, 9 yards. I know he was open most of the game.
So at the end of the day, we play an individual sport amongst a bunch of guys on the team. You know what I mean? So me personally, I couldn't answer the question more than what I just answered because I never saw myself in that light.
Yeah,
but I never tried to put myself as a
inside.
Yeah, you never like talked, but you always would do. You had your little celebration.
Don't get me wrong. Yeah, that's why I say that's after I done did what I had to do. When I do my job, you can't tell me how to celebrate. You see what I'm saying?
Hey,
I have different ones. I'm going to spin the ball.
So funny. I told you I was watching film coming up the highway, right?
I'm having a hard time with this. Listen, I feel like you're telling on yourself a little bit.
I genuinely listened to it, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching Santana. I don't know how I got to Santana. And I started noticing something. Every time he scored in college, especially when he first got in the league, when he crossed the end zone, he was going to unbutton his He going to unbutton it.
That's my thing.
It had got to a point where he had to think about it. I seen him, somebody was tackling him going across the line. He was unbuttoning it. I was like, what the fuck is this dude doing?
That's crazy he noticed that.
No, I was
That's
like,
crazy
dude.
he noticed that.
I like, what is he doing?
That was the part of my celebration that it was hit. Like, people get enamored with the ball spin. I laughed about that because I was spinning the ball since I was J high. I remember I got a penalty in college. They come out, how they do in the league, how the refs come out and stuff. So in college, my first game back after my broke jaw, we playing Cincinnati Bearcats. I spin the ball, and they went to time. We went to a timeout. You know how you get a break, and when the commentators came back, they say the ball's still spinning from 6. See, and like it's crazy. The first meeting we had going into the next season, the officials told me, "Hey, you can't do this no more."
Really?
And I'm like, what? I grew up watching this guy spin the ball, that guy spin the ball, and now you point me out for spinning the football. So my coach told me, Tanner, I used to spin for every catch. My coach said, Tanner, until you score, spin the ball. So, I would have to wait till I score. But that was a touchdown. They told me I couldn't do it. But besides the spinning the ball thing, that was like a swag thing. Snap that button off, because that's a Miami thing.
Job done.
Yeah.
This is what it kind of signals.
But I didn't know that you would notice that.
Like, I noticed everything.
Dude, that was pretty observant by our guy.
No, I just, it never failed. Like, let me look, I'm going to check. I checked out.
You said you weren't watching. Now you're talking about watching it.
I was like, let me check. So I went back to seeing every touchdown from college, and he did it every time.
My same thing.
Yeah, I always thought it was because receivers and corners were on camera a lot, so they had to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now we almost independent contractors. We had the same battle as y'all, but we got internal wars going on outside, and our wars are magnified.
Yeah.
Like you can have a good battle in the trenches, and they won't talk about it till 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get dogged that day.
Yeah,
That's
outside.
Yeah.
You know, I used to always too. Now I know we're gonna move on, but my other thing I used to do is just tapping. You know what I mean? I feel like that was just. I feel like so many people was doing it, I had to change. I'm like, damn, everybody doing the tap to the chest and pointing up at the sky. So.
Yeah.
Also, I was thinking about the Thanksgiving game in 2012, and I remember you getting into it with a DB after you scored a touchdown.
No, I
remember I had to grab you. It was like Pierre
you grabbed me. You did. That was Pierre's touchdown.
And you were talking.
And that was the guy. Him and Pierre was going at it, but he pushed Pierre hard to the ground.
Right,
so I was just defending my guy. You know, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not one of those guys that like to get into those. You know, I guess you say pissing contests. But when you're in the heat of the battle, man, so much goes on, man. You just react.
Do you remember Pierre, man? That dude would.
He's a pit bull.
After people.
I played Pierre when he was in the Indianapolis
Really?
Colts.
Pit bull.
Listen,
Was he like that even when he was young?
you know some wide receivers don't take pride in
That
blocking.
Haitian, man.
Pit bull.
No, listen.
That Zoe don't
I was
play.
watching film on Pierre. I said he actually blocking people to hurt them against his coverage. He's trying to tire you out.
Yeah.
Like, so, because, you know, he could easily just get in front of you, shield you, block you. No, he is literally, he's trying to bury you.
Yeah.
And he's trying to hurt something on you. So when you have to check him, he was already hard to tackle. Let's be honest. Like, he one of the few big guys that just give me the ball quick.
Yeah.
I keep running. Him and Quan Bolden.
I was gonna say,
anybody built like that?
You took that.
was strong,
you took
man.
it out of my. I was gonna say he had that Anquan Bolden effect to me, faster than Anquan, but they're so big. You know, they can bully guys on the outside, and then they gonna beat you.
Then they can beat you deep.
Yeah, beat you deep, or just out route you, route you up or whatever. But now Pierre was a good guy.
Yeah.
I love the fact that
teammate.
I got a chance to play with him because I watched him play with Reggie, and I remember he came over here. I remember he said something to me. It was funny. He was like, "Yeah, boy, you different from Reggie." I started laughing. I say, "We know."
Yeah, everybody knows.
He say, it was like Reggie want that ball. You know what I mean?
Especially at that time because Marvin is gone.
Yeah,
so Reggie like this got to be all me.
Yeah, but Pierre had his last. I think the year that he came here, the year before he came here, that was his best season over there in Indy, and I think he out. I don't know if he
had more yards.
I don't know if he out court Reggie or had more yards in him, but he had a great season.
That's something that I think people need to do more now in today's game. Is like just try to wear that dude out.
Yeah.
I used to do it like blocking. Like everyone's like, "Why'd you finish so much?" It's like because I know I'm in a little bit better shape, and like this guy who's really talented. If I can get him on the ground a couple times,
get that jersey dirty.
Yeah, he gets a little tired. It does.
And now guess what? You catch that slant, and I'm trying to tackle you, and now I slide down your body.
You know what I hated, and this for them DBs that did it to me. So if they do, just so happen to listen to our pod. I remember having a guy that talked mess about me. He wouldn't say it to me personally, said it to somebody else.
Oh, bro.
And I get in the game with him. You know how you say you have people circled?
Yeah.
He was, boy, whew, I knew we was playing that team. I didn't really care about it. I say, if he on that team, by the time we get there, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna block him. I'm gonna out route him. I'm gonna show him every play why he don't speak my name up like that in vain. And bro, when I say I got out there, I was backside.
Yeah.
I act like I was going to get a safety and turn around, smack.
See what I'm talking about?
Tanner, damn, what's up, bro? You good? Want to give me the pat in the back? You all right?
Yeah.
How the family? Boy, ain't no family. Boy, it's every play I was doing something at him. So now I'm front side. I'm blocking. Tanner, you good now, man? He gone. He down. Bro, stop telling me I'm good.
Yeah.
This is an all-day thing.
This is no negotiation.
But it got to the point to where I say, see, now I got him.
Yeah.
See, now I knew it was just talk. So now I got you. You want to be my friend.
Yeah.
So by the time I've had 6 and 7 catches on him, he's so friendly. He helping me up off the ground. I say, boy, I hate DB.
You done took his soul at that point.
You said something that he didn't even know he cut me. And I was like, what's my going to try me? So I was waiting for him. I didn't say nothing back. I didn't want to send no messages back. So I'm going to see him when I see him.
Did you remember David Boston, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The evil man, David Boston.
David Boston.
If y'all know, he was 6'3", like 250 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, he was taking some special vitamins.
Yeah, I would say. And then what I told him before the game, I was like, humans don't grow this big. And he looked at me. He had these red contacts. You remember he used to wear them red contacts? I was like, is you the devil? Are you trying to pretend to be the devil? He was like, nah, I'm 100% the damn devil. And I never forget, they tossed a sweep the first play. He cut me, like the play ain't even on our side. I'm trying to, take my angle in case they break it. He cut me from the back.
Oh, my God.
I said, dude, don't nobody do that. He said, I do it. And I'm going to do it for 4 quarters. Man, I got in some blocking battle with this dude. I'm finna lose
You
this
wasn't,
battle.
you wasn't winning that battle with him. That
He's
dude is
too strong.
a bodybuilder, man.
Yeah.
It was sickening.
Dude, he's a sick dude. Anyway, I was going to say we should get back to the schedule.
Yeah, but I had a fan. As a fan, I got to jump in and ask a question. Yeah. Have you ever, Fred, I know you've probably been on the opposite side of this, but Tana, have you ever had somebody trash talking you during the game and then they just say something that's like funny? And you're like, I should be mad at you, but that was pretty good.
You know what's so crazy?
Is it appropriate before you say it?
No, but so I'm going to answer the question first. No, I never had anybody say, but I got a little, I guess I can say a little nugget from a teammate that told me, hey man, I don't know if you do this, but what I do is go on the media guide and I read who their family members are.
Oh, yeah.
And I get the girlfriend name and I say the girlfriend name. And bro, I swear to God, I never used it. Yeah. But it was a guy that got on my nerves in college. And he went to saying something before the game. Like he talked. He didn't get on my nerve when it came to us playing. It's just he talks. So I was like, man, hey, how Felicia? If you talking about seeing somebody just like hard almost leave their chest, and that boy asked me, how you know Felicia? Hey, check this out. Nah, bro, we'll talk later. We'll talk when that brother
just ratted him.
And it's a rap. Yeah. It's talking about and I didn't know who the hell the girl was. I didn't know how much. But
that's so funny.
60 minutes, this man asked me about that girl. Yeah. Out his game.
Yeah, hey, listen.
It was a rap.
That's what I did in college with that smoochmack.com. Really? That's what I told you I was supposed to be on Twitter, not Elon Musk. Right? Smoochmack.com, I gained information from the student body. And I found out girlfriends, sisters, and I weaponized it. Yeah, I'm talking about to the T.
I'm glad no one ever used that to me, use that with me, because I could just imagine, like, I felt bad after I said it, but that was the other guy too. He was like, man, this guy always talking. So I'm gonna say something about his mama, or I'm gonna say something about his chick.
I saw Niles do that once, and it was just the guy's face was just like, he was like kind of all up in Niles' face, and Niles said something about his old lady, and then it was just like,
it was over with.
And I just was like, oh my God.
They go dormant on you. Yeah. I've done it many times.
That's tough, man.
It like whatever I can do to rattle you.
Yeah. And apparently that works pretty well.
It does.
All right, so the other thing, back to schedule. I know we took a little digression there, but that's always fun.
That shows we really care about the schedule.
Yeah, we don't really care about the schedule. Okay, late bye again this time. Do we care? Is that a big deal?
I'm just tired of it. I'm just tired of it because it seemed like this. Let's sit there to watch the team up for failure. Let's give them a bye in week 17. Yeah. Like, no, man. I wish that the bye was week 7, 8, week 9, 10.
Something in the middle.
Something that can get these guys. I need a break. Mm-hmm. Let me get away.
I think I don't really get too caught up into it. I feel like now that we cover the team, it's more to talk about. Yeah. As a player, you notice it and you be like, damn. Yeah. But you look at it and say, hey, the bright side is if I can make it to this, you know what I mean? But you don't want to be on a roll. You know what I mean? That's the only thing about it. Like, if you make it to that point, you're not hoping that you're doing bad, but you're hoping I need a break. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want to see the team flourishing at the top of their, at the peak of their game. Everything is clicking, and then they say, here's the bye week. Because that could be detrimental, you know what I mean? So hopefully it works out well for us.
So the question is also, I think that bye comes after a Thursday night game.
2 days, 2 weeks after 2 weeks afterwards.
Thursday night game is, I think, week 11.
11.
Yeah,
and then the bye is the 14th.
So they're trying to say that Thursday night is they extended.
But last year, the Commanders had I think it was the Thursday night game, week 8, which makes more sense because it's kind of right smack dab in the middle. You get that little bye week there. So it's a little bit different schedule. All their breaks kind of come later in the season.
I think it'd be interesting also just how the coaches, notice what's going on with that and just say how they kind of conduct things throughout the week, each and every week.
100%. But I'm really glad you brought that point about the late bye, because I remember being like, we had a late bye. I forget. We had this conversation. It was like 2013, whatever. And I was playing pretty good, and I didn't want to leave because I was in like a groove. You know what I'm saying? I understood my week was set, and I was like, let's just play the rest of the season.
But speaking of that, before we move on, what you can do as a player, I did this before, especially with the Jets. I was a young pup. we had a late bye, and I'm just starting to feel like I'm a part of the team now. Like it took me a while. I got hurt out the gate, so I'm starting to feel myself. When everybody left, I stayed right there. I came back to practice. I came to the facility every day while everybody was gone. I caught passes from Chad Pennington, and like we did things individually that when we went the next week, I scored my first touchdown. So I'm like, look, that's bye. I took advantage of it by staying in town and just putting the work in, and I went out there.
I like the fact that I don't think I ever in my whole career took a vacation on the bye. I don't think I ever left the city.
I started doing it late.
Yeah, I just never did it. Like I feel like I know me.
Yeah.
And if I get in a certain mode, it's over. Yeah. When I show back up, I got a sombrero on and like, Smoot, what's going on? We got 4 more weeks. No,
you might not show back up.
I am finished.
That's what's going to happen. Yeah. They might be looking for you.
I'm like, no, don't you do that to yourself. So I would just chill.
Smart. The other thing I get a lot when we're talking schedule release is predicting games.
Yeah.
And I think that is maybe like, it's a fun thing to do.
It's an oxymoron.
But you can't do it.
Yeah, you can't.
It's so early in the offseason to predict these games. Like everyone's like, oh, who's going to win week 6 against?
We don't know who's even playing.
Like, I was so disgusted with us saying we was going to be 10-7 last week.
Don't be disgusted.
Like, no, I was disgusted because that was all of us together, and it was about 7 more losses I wanted to give us. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just being real. Like, because you really don't know. So I want them to prove me wrong. You know what I mean? I'm just talking.
But we don't know. We don't know. We might have played the game, but every season is different.
Yeah.
Every game is different. And do teams change and fluctuate by quarters? That's what I say. Because you got to go injury.
Of the season. Like every 4 games, it's a new team.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it don't matter to us. One game at a time.
And our producer, Jason, did a great job. Like, think about this. Last week, week 1, we played the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Last year.
Josh Dobbs was starting.
Yeah.
He wasn't even on the team later in the year, right? The Giants, week 7.
Astronaut.
Yeah. Giants, week 7. Tyrod Taylor, little surprise there. And then the Giants, week 11. Who else? Tommy DeVito. That was not on my bingo card.
Lord,
so when people say, are like, who's going to be like
Tommy DeVito?
Those late games in the year, it's like I don't even know who's going to be playing.
We don't know. Yeah. Spencer Rattler might be quarterbacking for the Cowboys week 17. Yeah. We don't know.
And a lot of these teams have they've got new players.
Yeah.
But B, and probably more importantly, and probably should be they have new coordinators.
Yes.
Offensive and defensive coordinators. And as we've seen over the last probably 5 or 6 years in the NFL, those coordinators drastically impact the effectiveness of the team.
They do.
So
I think it's always good for the sake of conversation.
100%.
You know what I mean?
It's barbershop. It's great good barbershop. What if?
Because I get caught up in the whole, like I got friends that would call me ready to debate. And they know I'm not a debater. I'm like, bro, I don't know, bro. And they be like thinking that I'm just the guy to talk to because, Tanner, you played in the league. You know this guy.
I still don't know it.
What do you think about this? I don't know. What do you mean what I think about it? And it's just funny. So I think now, just having this platform and us having this opportunities to kind of chime in on some of this stuff, it's interesting just to see our take or hear our take.
Yeah.
But, bro, as a player, if someone would have said that and I'm watching that show, I'm like, man, get off the damn screen. You don't know what the hell you're talking about because you really don't know.
But one is full of optimism and one is full of...
Because a lot of times...
we bury it in the ground again. Yeah. So that's why when we get these predictions, everybody wants to look on the bright side. A cup half full, not cup half empty.
I always got a kick out of the person that told us or said that I wasn't going to do something. You see what I'm saying? Like that was what...
You like Dallas.
When I heard that, I'm like, okay, bingo.
Yeah.
I can turn the TV off now. I don't got to be told anything else.
And then imagine this, world, podcasters. Imagine people getting on TV and talking about you at your job and say, you know what, Cindy?
Oh, my gosh. I
think we're going to trade her to IBM. We'll trade her to IBM next month. And matter of fact, her skills are starting to deplete.
I used to tell my dad this. Like, imagine you come in, you had a bad game, tough game on Sunday.
Yeah.
Monday you come in, they got a bunch of tight ends working out. Imagine you got a bunch of people like that do your job,
Yeah, imagine I come in and all of a sudden Tay Cody sitting in the lobby like, okay. Oh, yes.
But see, that's the thing about it. Folks fail to realize, and that's one of the things about our life, and especially just me, my position. I get drafted, I get traded here in 2005, have the season of all seasons, one of my best seasons, and then the next year, they bring in 2 other guys that I know, Randuel and Brandon Lloyd, and pay them the same money. And I'm sitting there like,
We are not the same.
What the hell? I just, you know what I mean? So if you're wired to worry about that, then you're not fit for this.
No, you're not. You're right.
I literally had to be like, all right, come on, bring it. You know what I'm saying? So that's every year. That's why I never looked at our draft stuff.
Yeah.
When I was playing this game, I didn't know who we drafted.
Yeah.
Y'all like, hey, what do you think about this guy? Who is that? Y'all just drafted the first round. I see him in practice. I don't know who the hell that is. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. That's me. I'm a draft guy, so I pretty much knew everybody that we drafted.
Yeah.
So.
But that's the schedule. And if you want to see our kind of full thoughts, our predictions, all that kind of stuff, make sure you check out the schedule release special on the Commanders YouTube page. Yeah. And now let's talk about something that I'm excited to talk about because I think it's important is OTAs. Let's talk about OTAs. So let's just talk about the offseason schedule. So after 2011, with the new CBA, they basically changed the offseason structure. So there's phase 1, which is just like lifting weights. You can meet with your coaches. But
install a little bit.
There's no field time. That's what the meetings are, right? It's kind of laying the foundation for the end-all. Phase 2, which is you can lift and run, but now there's meeting time with the coaches. And you have an hour limit in the building. Now phase 3 is OTAs, which is actual practice.
On-field practice.
Right. And practice from when we did OTAs has changed pretty dramatically.
Yes, it has.
It basically used to be like a full speed practice, but you just had helmets on. And when I first got in the league, we wore pads.
I would say.
Yeah. So obviously that's changed completely now because now they're out there for an hour and 15 minutes and they're getting good work done. I'm not besmirching that in any way, but the structure's a little bit different. However, the thing I wanted to talk about is that's all football time. They're installing the offense. So do you guys remember that from your time here and kind of what is an install and how does that go?
And just to chime in a little bit, I was thrown off when I saw that practice, how different it was from when we practiced. The other day I was watching, I'm like, when they gonna break up individually and do some, some other stuff? No. And then it was over. I'm like, oh, something going on.
Yeah, it's different.
But just to get back to what you asked, I had to deal with a lot of different offenses. So this time of the year was always it played an integral part of my preparation for the season. Like I really had to dive in and say, okay, new offense. How you going to take on this? You know what I mean? So I was, man, this is what I used to enjoy coming here to put my time in and get home and get to my couch to watch TV because I know when I get here, it's all work. It's all getting used to something new. And even if I didn't know it, even if it wasn't new, I want to learn something else about the offense. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I always share with you guys that I was more worried about myself than anybody else. But once I had me down, now I'm going to dive in and see what Logan got to do. Now I'm going to dive in and see what CP doing in the backfield or whoever it may be. So I pay close attention to this time of year because I feel like you can get ahead of the curve by getting all the information in right now.
Listen, I played for so many different coordinators and head coaches that I had to be here for OTA because I had to learn a whole new defense year in and year out. And the scary thing about new coaches is, do I fit their scheme? That's always your thing. So once I found out who my coordinators is, I remember Marvin Lewis. We hired him. I went right. Started watching. I want to see what was they doing in Baltimore. What were they doing here? What were they doing to see do I fit their scheme? Hell, the only time that I almost felt like I didn't is when we signed Mike Tomlin when I was in Minnesota. Him as our defensive coordinator. And I knew I was going to play a majority of cover 2, which I could play cover 2, but hey, I like to play man to man. I like responsibility. So then all that offseason, I tried to pack on a couple pounds because I know I'm now part of the run front. All right, but I also said, you know what? Let me get used to like literally getting my jam down pat. Like,
you know what my goal was too, and I'm glad you brought that up, talking about fitting a scheme. Like I had a thing, and it's crazy as I think about it now, so more so than I did back then when I was younger or when I was playing. I wanted to say I had a successful season with every coach. And like, you want to put them all together every year. You want to have a successful season, but I looked at success in my position was, don't get me wrong, if you had a good year by just being productive, leading your team, that's good. But success with me was like, man, 1,000 yards, Pro Bowl. You know what I mean? Being a contender. Being a guy that could have, been in the, got to the Pro Bowl or got into the playoffs. And I look at it. So the Jets, I had Herm Edwards. That was one head coach. Here I had Gibbs first. I had Zorn. Then I ended up having Mike. Then I had Jay to leave out the door. Jay was the only guy I really didn't play for. That was my last year here. I was Jay came and I left the next year. But all of those other 4 coaches, I was putting up numbers in every different offense. And, you just brought something back to mind. I never looked at the offenses as I couldn't be successful in them. I just wanted to get into it
and find your fit
and find my niche. Like, what is it that I'm going to be able to do well here? And it's crazy because I guess I could say the later in my years, which I learned this in college. Me and Reggie used to switch positions all the time just to trick guys who's going to be basically diving in. Santana's going to be Z or he's going to be in the slot. I can play every position if they allow me to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Certain offensive schemes
don't allow you to. They put you in one spot.
Stay here.
Yeah.
But Mike started letting me play every position, and Coach Gibbs had me everywhere. He didn't care.
Yeah.
In New York, they had me just at Z. You know what I mean? So that's what I always found the success in, like just making sure that no matter who offense it is coming in here, no matter what coach, I want to have a great year.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to kind of give some more, like those are great stories, but to give some more like kind of specific context. So like in phase one, you're probably talking about huddle, you're talking about cadence, you're talking about kind of offensive high level philosophy. Phase two, you might actually start putting in some plays because you're on the field. So you're going to do routes on air. You're going to do kind of situational football, probably install 2-minute. And then phase three, you're probably on like your 4th and 5th install by then, right? Yeah. Which makes it tough for the rookies to come in because they got to catch up with everything.
But I don't think it's going to make it tough for them because of them divided self on self. Like we talked about it. They're not doing one-on-ones. Like I used to love one-on-ones with receivers.
They'll do that in minicamp, by the way.
But I also understand that ain't real.
Yeah.
Like that's so not real. Like it ain't no field that me and Tanner going to get on and it's just me, him, and the quarterback. He got 100 yards to work with.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible to get a lot from that. Right? But at the end of the day, the more team stuff they do, I think the more mental reps these younger guys get, and I think that's what they did. I think they took some of the physicality out and said, let's go more mental.
Yeah.
So to make sure these guys got a mental chance when, in my day, they wasn't caring about your mental chance. Your mental chance was your responsibility.
Yeah. It was, and then it was way more physical too.
Yeah.
I think, so it's been fun to go watch the dueling 7-on-7 practices. That's been a lot of fun. And it's just cool to see how they've progressed with all that stuff. The other thing I just wanted to talk about real quick is young guys with veterans. So the first day we were out there, or not rookie minicamp, but the first OTA day.
Yep.
We saw Luke and Luke McCaffrey and Terry McLaurin talking to each other.
You are my son.
They're kind of in the same line, right? Johnny Newton has talked about how excited he is to work with Allen and Payne.
Yeah.
You see the impact of Bobby Wagner. Like, how important is it having those older guys kind of mentoring some of these younger, Jordan McGee, Bobby Wagner talked about that a ton. Like these younger guys and kind of saying, hey, this is how we do things. This is what it means to be a pro.
I think it's great. I think, it's I guess you can say to each his own too, because if you are a guy that's really about ball, you might not even need that conversation. Just the way you watch the game. Like I was a guy that I took every piece of information you got from me. I took it. I took it in. I absorbed it.
Right.
But I was watching you regardless.
Yeah.
I was gonna know what I had to do by the guy in front of me, or even if I wasn't the guy behind anybody. If I did something, I was gonna make sure that I was studied up. I was prepared enough to go out there and make sure I did it right. But when I was sitting on my knee watching the other groups go, I'm watching that guy who's been here longer or who's been in the league longer. So when I was in New York, I had Lavernius. He had just been there he just got there the year before.
Lavernius Coles, right?
But he was to the point to where it's crazy. I want to share this real quick. I remember going home after minicamp, my first minicamp. So it'd be around this time of the year. And my receiver coach was like, so who looks good out there receiver? Who's going to be the best receiver on the team? And remind you, I'm the first round pick.
Yeah. I
say, man, Lavernius Cole not even in the rotation. Like he's 4th or 5th. He's the best receiver on the team. Mm-hmm. And my wide receiver coach, CJ, he's like, what? I say, man, LC got it, coach. Mm-hmm. I get hurt that year. They wanted Matthew Hatchett to be the starting Z. They wanted Hatchett to be the Z. Hatchet. They wanted, Wayne Quebec to stay his position, or vice versa. They wanted Hatchett to be the X and Wayne Quebec to be the Z. And Coles kind of went in there and spoke up, like, man, I need to get a chance to play. If y'all ain't gonna let me play, then trade me. And they gave him opportunity. They ain't never looked back.
Yep.
And my receiver coach told me, say, you knew what you was talking about. So get back to the story. I mean, I had to share that because Cole showed me a lot of stuff watching him.
LC.
But I took something from every guy who was already there. I got here, I had David Patton. Mm-hmm. I had Thrash, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those guys was integral parts in me just watching them as veterans. Even though I was the guy, I remember trying to push everything to them. And David Patton was like, Tanner, nah, you the guy. They paid you to be the guy. So speak up. I'm like, well, nah, I ain't finna do that. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go out here and do what I do on the field.
And watch me.
I always watch those guys who was basically who had, I guess you can say, more of a tender than me. You know.
Yeah.
I think it's good to have any brain trust. Like they say, if you can have an old person's mind and a young person's body, that's the perfect human being. All right. So the one thing I had a luxury nobody else in the NFL probably ever had. I made it to a DB room with 3 yellow jackets in it,
That's
all
crazy.
playing my position.
You said that before.
And we talking about top 5, 6 Rushmore guys.
Yeah.
We talking about Darrell Green, Deion Sanders, Champ Bailey. But I do remember, because I'm a sponge. I watch everything. And I'm sitting there watching Darrell one day. He just backpedaling. This little choppy.
Have you seen?
Yeah, but
there's a clip floating around on Instagram.
oh no, and that's how he backpedaled when we played.
I couldn't believe that's how he did it.
It's just these steps.
And he was like super high hip, like not very
like standing straight up because he's not that tall.
Yeah.
We did one-on-ones. And Prime not practicing, his toe hurt. And he seen me do it. I was chop. He said, come here. Don't you ever try to mimic that again.
Yeah.
I like, why? He like, only Darrell Green can Darrell Green.
Yeah.
Everything
true.
about what he doing is incorrect. I like, why? What do you mean? He like, look how high he is.
Yeah.
Look at them choppy steps. You don't want to do that. Your legs too long.
Yeah.
Right? No, you got to mimic people that's more like your body type. Right? And then you got to realize what make this guy special won't make you special.
Yeah.
Right? So there go that learning curve.
That's great leadership.
Oh, that's great, man.
By Deion.
No, that was great insight too,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I mean, just think about it though. How I can't say we immature, but we oblivious to.
We don't know nothing.
We don't know nothing.
But
So
you thinking you to conquer the world.
You're trying to just say, man, okay, that's how you do it.
Yeah.
But then you find out, like,
I can't
it's
do it
almost
like
like when we was talking the other day. I'm not sure if we had this conversation together or if it was someone else I was talking to. When you're in college, and you know they giving you all this food, training table, you got this food, and I remember being around Andre Johnson. You know, he's young, he's 2 years younger than me. But we both receivers. And I remember I had a strict diet. After I broke my jaw, I came to the point where I wasn't eating no kind of red meat. I was trying to eat light as possible because I found out the weight I was at when I came off the broken jaw was me. I mean, this is where I want to stay at. And I saw Dre throw down this damn 2 Whoppers and fry and drink. And I'm sitting there like, man, I'm going to treat myself today. I felt like and then I see this creature, this beast of a man, go out here,
not gain a pound,
18 years old. I'm talking about it was nothing to him. He went out there and ran 110s after that. And I'm like, bro, I can't do what he does. So we all wired different, but that's just how you are as a,
and
a
that's
player.
quick to identify you. You need to identify who you are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's so important. Like one of the things about the last regime that I always had a hard time with is like they come in and they let Ryan Kerrigan go. When they bring in Chase Young and they bring in Montez Sweat, you know
like they don't need somebody to grow up.
You need that guy
that,
in the room. And I don't care if they're the
that.
best football player, but you need someone to kind of say,
that mentor,
this is how we respect the coach. This is how we take notes. This is how we, that stuff that you don't learn from a coach.
And that's why I wish Bobby Wagner was here 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
Because that locker room needed somebody to say, sit down, sit down, sit down. You've done nothing.
They didn't have anybody, and they was leaning on Allen, you know what I mean? And not to say that he wasn't the man fit for the job.
But we talking about
showed us he was, but he was young too.
Yeah, he was young too.
Yeah.
So,
and I think so. That's why I think like all of these like young to old relationships, like Luke McCaffrey, Terry McLaurin, all these guys, Austin Eckler for the running backs, is just going to be so incredibly important.
They play a major role. They play a major role in your growth.
The other thing I've noticed when you watch OTA practice is just how locked in Jayden Daniels is.
Yeah.
Like he is ready to go.
No BS. He's literally out there to work.
And so one of the things that's come out about him is this VR training stuff, virtual reality training. So basically they take the Oculus, which is that kind of cool, virtual reality.
Yeah, my kids sitting in the locker room. Sitting in the living room all day with it on. I'm thinking they blind and I don't know. What do you do? I see them throwing blows. Like, get off my couch. Go outside.
So basically that thing's pretty cool. I don't know if you guys view one before. But it's like totally immersive.
Oculus.
Yeah, so when you look around, it kind of puts you there. So this German company, for him when he was at LSU, and now the Commanders are using that same company here.
Yeah.
They input stadiums, and they were able to input defenses and able to input offenses.
Yeah.
So he's able to kind of sit there with this Oculus on.
Get a rep.
Right? Get a rep, but it's a real rep.
Yeah.
Because it's against a real defense. So one of the things you're always chasing as a football player is so you watch film, right?
Yeah.
But there's a disconnect, right? Because it's like, I got to kind of, if I'm blocking a 6, he's right over my head. But he plays it a little bit tighter, and you don't get to see the spacing exactly. So you're always kind of projecting that.
that is dope.
Gets the exact spacing. Now, it's really hard because you have to input a ton of plays to get these reactions and to get these things.
Yeah.
But in terms of him being able to pick up this offense so quickly, like, he's studying a ton on his own, but I think this is such a cool tool.
Yeah, that's dope.
To put these guys in a, like, could you imagine, Tana, if you were like,
I can't imagine. That is dope.
Hey, I get the coverage rotation in my VR headset. I don't even need to put the film on it. Here it is.
I think they're going to take it to the next lodge. I mean, because we always see technology meet sports. It always happens. All right, think about it. Just something little like a video game. Like, Madden. You know how many people didn't learn how to read a playbook from playing Madden?
My first year in college, I learned more from Madden, just in terms of like basic coverages.
Yes.
Because I was like, oh, this is what he's talking about, cover 2.
Yeah.
Okay, and so I totally agree.
So now imagine getting that without that pressure on your knee.
Pressure on your knee.
Imagine getting that rip and be like, oh, I didn't see that last time. Let me rewind this quick. Like, so it's that visual rip that I think that's gonna take them to the next level. What's making the quarterbacks better today and early ready to play? They did 1,000 reps of 7-on-7 in high school and college. So passing the ball is second nature to them. When I came out, as good as Peyton Manning was, he didn't pass the ball 50 times a game at Tennessee. Like, so this reps was so far and in between that they had to get them exactly right every time. I think this give them time to fail before they succeed.
So, like, I was at the combine and I was at a bar and I bumped into this guy, normal dude, and I find out he runs like the VR program for LSU.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And so we started talking, and we should see if we can get him on. Really good dude.
Yeah.
We should try to get him on here. So we'll keep that in the loop of guests. But anyway, he was saying in a week, I said, how many more reps does he get in a week? Like, are we talking here? He's like, anywhere from 250 to 300 reps a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So think about it in a practice. You're on a practice, you're getting about 30 reps, 40 reps maybe if you're throwing the football a ton.
Yeah.
And that's over the course of 5 days, you know what I mean? Or 4 days, so that's 120 reps. So you're tripling your rep intake. And
why are you resting?
Yeah, you're not putting.
You're not exerting energy.
So to me, it's like cheating.
No, it is. I think it's dope because I never heard of this. I heard about the little virtual reality thing, but I just didn't know to what extent.
Yeah.
But I do recall. It's crazy you bring up Madden. I wasn't big in Madden playing. I would play it with my kids or something like that. And I caught on to it one day. I was like, hold on, do they have the real coverages on here?
Yes.
So I get in the game one day, and like I literally was running our plays just to see the coverage.
Yeah.
Just to see the coverage from the other team.
Yes.
And I wanted to see, Tanner, when you going to be opening this coverage?
Yeah.
When you going to be opening? And
Miami Dolphins play this two-man under.
I promise to God.
Yeah.
It worked?
I would literally see cover 2 and say, oh, this right here, I'm going to be opening the seam.
Yeah.
I would literally see how they played me in 6, and I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going to get 4 over here, and we're going to get 2 on this side.
Yeah.
So this guy going to be, I promise you, it elevated my game.
It's just my digital reps.
It's
just
giving
reps.
you, it's giving you reps. And I'm like, why I didn't think of this before?
Yeah.
But it was just because I'm watching the game. When I'm watching my kids play, I'm like, what coverage was that?
Yeah.
I said, hey, run that back.
Yo, Dad, that's two-man under.
And then you ask Madden for a coverage, and they give it to you. I'm like, oh, hell no, they got the same book.
Yeah.
So I went on the game and started using, I played with nothing but me and just tried to find my way of beating people in these coverages.
You was taking VR reps.
Yeah.
Like, it's no different than what you was doing.
Reason why I thought it was so interesting because later in my years of playing, I remember knowing everybody's position and like, hey, Pierre, it's coming to you. Come on, Pierre, get ready.
Yeah.
And Pierre used to come. We come back to her. Pierre like, damn, bro, you knew that. I say, bro, I saw the rotation of the coverage.
Yeah.
I'm the decoy. I'm in the slot. I'm gonna take this guy. So you coming in on the dead.
I'm the one opening it up for you.
I'm gonna open it up. So it was mad, and I was getting those reps beforehand. You know what I'm saying?
But to that point, imagine if they could give you like, so for example, everyone's running all these like amorphous like quarters, like match coverages.
Yeah.
But imagine being able to see that.
See it now.
Like the real, like, because in Madden, it's all spot drops, right? It's all,
it is
so
spot
for
drop.
cover 2, cover 3, quarters, like traditional quarters where they're getting to a spot.
Yeah.
That's incredibly helpful. I found it incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
But now I can see what cover 4 match looks like.
And I can see it mesh.
Yeah.
Yes,
I can see it mesh with these things.
That's the difference that you're not getting in the Madden.
Yeah.
When you got the real reps.
Because he going next level now. He's going next level. It's just like when we played, they weren't clocking our speed.
Yeah.
I bet if they was clocking our speed, we wouldn't blowing some of these speeds away.
Yeah.
Cause we was running, dude.
Yeah, we running.
Like we was running.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now. Yeah. All right.
I mean,
I'm telling you, I think I got to like 39 miles per hour one day at FedEx Field. Hey, you know what? The officer in Maryland pulled me over, gave me a speed ticket.
Said, you were right. You was driving one of them cars you had. Might have been driving your Rolls Royce.
He like, so are you running on FedEx Field doing 37 miles? Yes, I was, sir.
Hey, man, dude.
All right. So we've also watched 2 practices. We've watched the first day of rookie minicamp. Rookie minicamp. And we watched the first day of OTAs.
Yeah.
It's not a ton. I think they've had what is that, 5 total practices. They got one today. Anybody, obviously Jayden Daniels stuck out. So let's just, obviously he's sticking out. So we're going to exclude him. Anybody else that you're like, man, this dude.
Mike Davis. Somebody that nobody thought about. They thought when we signed him, he was just a flake of a sign. I think people forget his veteran. Stilo, he's been around a long time. He started a lot of ball.
6 years?
6 years. He started a lot of football, and I didn't know he was built like that.
Dude.
When I saw him, I'm like,
Dude, all the corners now. Even the guy.
There's Greek gods out there, you know?
Newsium, the guy from Colorado State.
Huge.
Huge. And then Benjamin St. Juice, tall. Like, it's just like the whole body type has changed now.
I think a guy that stood out, 2 guys stood out. I told you how much of a man crush I got on McGee.
Yeah,
but
Jordan
not on
McGee.
just looking at him, but Jordan McGee ran around well.
Yeah.
And just to know what he has, who knows? He's a 5th round draft pick. Who knows what's going to be his future? But when you got guys in front of him like he do, man, he's in a great position. You know what I mean? But a guy stood out too to me was Hampton. Seeing how big he was playing that safety position. I'm like, man, he ran 4.5, but shit, Jordan came back with a 4.5. I mean, he can make it out of something. But bro, I just like his presence alone. And then he got a pick. I believe he got a pick in that first OTA practice, and I was impressed with just how he went after the ball and just
how he moved around.
Man. I mean, that's one of the things that stands out more than anything, because we've been watching these guys for years. Yeah. The athletic ability of these guys this year is just crazy. Like top tier than what we had. You know what I mean?
And it's scary because now we know we're going to cut some good athletes. Like, that's what good teams do. They cut good players.
Yeah, and he's like, I think the thing about Hampton, too, he's another guy that stuck out to me. He's so like long-armed. Yeah. And he's tall, and he runs well, and you're like, man, that is like you look up the definition of like a dime linebacker. Yeah. Like, that is the guy. Yeah. And when you look at what they did in Dallas, and it's like, hey, we're going to be in a lot of dime.
They did it with Curse.
They need a guy like that.
Yes.
And a guy that's not afraid to fit a run, not a guy that you feel good in coverage.
And a guy that threatens to blitz.
Yeah.
So when you see him, you're thinking hot route.
Yeah, 100%. A guy with and this is another thing that people are sleeping on. They've got all these guys with these crazy long arms, and that clouds throwing windows. Yeah. That makes it harder to throw the football. So he's a guy that stuck out. I think Luke McCaffrey, every time I watch that guy run a route, I'm just like, considering you've only played receiver for 2 years, like you are so polished, you're so competitive. I mean,
he runs with this mixture of speed and power. Yeah. All right. Reminds me of
Ed all over again. It's his daddy. If you look at I'm watching his daddy all over. Every time I watch a rep.
But do you remember one Taylor Jacobs?
Oh, Taylor Jacobs, yeah.
The body build. The
only thing about Taylor Jacobs, and I want you to finish your story. He was lighter on his toes.
Yeah, he was light, but he would dig.
He would dig. That was such an old head way that Tanner said that. Yeah. He was lighter on his toes.
Yeah. But when Taylor would dig,
but you know what I'm talking about.
He would run with power, and he would like. Go in the room, weight room with Taylor Jacobs, and he would literally get 225 and just start ripping it.
I love Taylor, man. I wish I could have had more years with him. He was a guy, like, he's one of those guys, when you see you have young talent, you wish you could have just, like,
molded him.
Bro, come here. Yeah. Come with me. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't at the state to doing that with nobody at that time. This was my first year here. I was all about trying to establish yourself. But when I look back, I'm like, he was going so quick. I'm like, damn, we brought Brandon Lloyd in here. Gifted, bro. Had all the intangibles, man.
Me and Champ Bailey said the years I spent with Champ, out of all the receivers we practiced with, Taylor Jacobs gave us the most.
He was giving
hell.
Really?
Yeah.
Not Rod Gardner, not Michael Westbrook, not none of these dudes. Yeah. Taylor Jacobs had a mixture of route. He would disappear when the lights came on.
It didn't come on. It didn't transfer to the field.
Yeah, to the field. How often has that? I mean, that happens.
Bro, I just see that so much, man. So much.
And you know what guys don't know? They don't understand it. And everybody's, like I say, this game, you meet so many different guys, and they make it happen in a zillion different ways. Yeah. Everybody just can't walk out there and make a play.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need help.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to pray. It's something.
Yeah.
And I remember him trying to dib and dab into every way And I remember looking at it like, oh, he's trying to find one that's gonna help him be this guy all the time. Because he'll show up. You be like, that's the mother I want to see. I want to see him again. Yeah. And then you don't see it, and I'm like, I know Jason having a hard time.
And they'll think I'll be the foul-mouth guy. They'll think I'll be the potty mouth.
I'm so sorry, Jason. Nah, but honestly, bro, like I used to see him try to tap into different ways of finding that guy. And sometimes you just got to say, this is who you are. Like, whatever you did that day, do it again. You know what I'm saying?
And that had to be the most frustrating thing for a coach, to have a player that glow up like this at practice and beat Pro Bowl player.
I remember hearing the coaches ask questions like, why? Where you at? Like,
why?
Really?
Won't he show up on? He'll get right in the game, run that route, and drop that ball.
Yeah.
At practice, wouldn't drop it not one time.
Was, I mean, you see how small my hands is. His hands was huge, strong, and you'd be like, God, Taylor, like
he's not missing nothing.
You got it. Don't think about it. And I think it's overthinking. You know what I mean?
I think that's 100% right. You know, like people ask me about what's it like to be an undrafted free agent or whatever. A low drafted guy. There's a lot of pressure you put on yourself. You put yourself in a bad spot. But in terms of other guys that have stuck out to me, Frankie Louvu, I mean, looks like a dude.
He looks so good in that Folgers.
Looks like a dude.
Folgers.
Jeremy Chin. We talk about big long guys. Like
Mr. Chin.
I mean, I don't know. I was impressed with him when he was out there running around. He had a pick on that day against Mariota.
And that 11 looked good on him.
Yeah.
And then two other guys. One is Bryson Tremaine. He's a guy that
you've been pulling for Bryson for like 2 years.
He was a rookie last year, so it's impossible.
8-9.
But I'm saying like he's big. He looks different than the other receivers. Let me just say that. Yeah. He's big. He's been making contested catches, and he's good on teams. Yeah. So in terms of a guy that's like maybe like a long shot to make the roster if he keeps playing like this, that's a guy. And then Colston Yankoff from UCLA.
That's my guy.
Dude,
that's my guy.
Way better than I expected.
I told you about him.
I don't know how you watched him, though.
Because guess what? He played for Little Milton University. but no, I looked up a lot of his pass. Mm-hmm. And I'm always intrigued when I see big guys play like 4 positions. Mm-hmm. They're telling me you're so good at something that nobody knows where to play you at. Yeah. And sometimes people don't grow into their body until they get to the league. Yeah. Like we might have had a guy at wide receiver, and this guy turns out to be a defensive end. Mm-hmm. This guy, when you showed me you played a little quarterback, a little tight end, a little tailback, I like... It's an athlete right there. I want to watch him.
Rogers looked pretty good too.
Armani?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he looks the part. I mean,
he's just huge.
He's like 6'7", 6'6". He can run.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
How was he ever a quarterback? In what universe was he a quarterback?
Do y'all remember like just the one season he had 2 years ago with us?
So and explosive.
He was like, we might got something with this dude, you know what I mean? So I was pissed that we didn't have that last year, man. But I'm hoping a guy like that. I mean, it's gonna be harder now with the tight end room and stuff. But I mean, hey, if you can make it, man.
If he can show what he showed, like, I mean, I remember having conversations with people from the old staff saying, "Oh, we think he can play receiver," and I was like, "Come on." And then he had that explosive screen catch. He's running people over.
That's what I told you. I can't wait to go get my Weird Al Yankoff shirt. This what I'm gonna do. My Weird Al Yankoff. I
love it.
And I'm gonna rock it most definitely because I want him to make the team.
So that's gonna do it for today's show. We do have one more practice that's open to the media this week. Yeah, I'm gonna try and get out there. I know what you guys are up to.
We'll be out there.
Yeah, try to get out there, watch practice, give you guys an update. And then we're going to keep you posted on some of these other hires as they come in. And make sure you tune in to the Command Center show and subscribe to this show wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to see us, we're on YouTube. If you want to see us looking at each other and just sitting here, that's awesome.
Weird Al Yankoff.
I think that's going to do it, Fred. That's it.